The preferred method for all copying is by putting the originals in the document feeder. It doesn't matter whether your originals are single-sided or they're double-sided. You can put them in the document feeder and it will scan both sides if it's a double-sided document. You know that your documents are in the document feeder correctly if the green light goes on. All right? The document feeder is the preferred method for feeding originals for copying because it automatically knows what size the paper is, and it automatically knows if you still have pages that it needs to make copies of. When it's out, the copying will begin. This is your main menu. Typically you will see 3 buttons no matter which machine you go to, no matter which school you're in. They should all look the same. The 3 buttons are copy, scan and send in the tutorial. We're going to deal with copying today. If you leave the machine alone or you press the main menu button, this is the screen you will see with those 3 buttons. If you press the copy button, it gives you your copy choices. It will automatically produce copies of the same size on the same size paper, and they will automatically be collated if all you do is put your originals in the machine and press the green button. It'll make 1 copy. You can alter the number of copies by punching in the number that you would like on the keypad on the right. You can clear that number by pressing the C clear key. The primary choices you will need to make with a good copy job revolve around single-sided, double-sided, and what sort of finishing you'd like. The single-sided, double-sided button is the one you'll use most frequently. It's found second in from the left on the lower part of the screen. If you press it, it shows the 4 choices: single-sided to double-sided, double-sided to double-sided, double-sided to single-sided, which you won't use very often, and the ability to copy a book to a double-sided copy. Choosing any one of those will highlight it and make that your choice for the copy job. You'll notice that because you've made a choice other than the standard single-sided to single-sided, it's highlighted at the bottom of the screen. If I go back and cancel those settings, the highlighting goes off. Finishing is a matter of, do you want it to collate, which it'll do automatically? Do you want it to group, which is all the page 1s, then all the page 2s? Or do you want it to staple? If you want it to staple, you need to hit Next down at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen and tell the machine where you would like the staple placed. It will default to top left. If we cancel those settings, you'll notice that finishing is not highlighted. If we go to finishing again, we can also hole punch our copies. That'll do 3 hole punch on the left-hand side. If it's highlighted, it's on. If it's not highlighted, it's off. You can hole punch and staple the same job, but since you're stapling, you still need to tell it where you'd like the staple placed. Notice that because we are stapling and hole punching, the finishing highlighting is on. Pressing the yellow reset button on the right-hand side clears all of our choices and goes back to the beginning. Density shouldn't need to be used very often. It controls the darkness and lightness of your copy, either darkening it or lightening it. It has a very useful feature if your originals are on, for instance, colored paper, where you can adjust the background to take out the gray that usually comes from copying something that was originally printed on colored paper. The text photo setting is the default. You really shouldn't need to change it. The only other thing you might want to do with copying is to change the enlargement or reduction of what it is you're copying. That's primarily done if you're copying something off the glass and you'd like to either make it larger or smaller. If that's the case, hit the button underneath 100% that says copy ratio, and you can choose one of the standard enlargements or reductions, or you can simply type in 150% and hit OK. That concludes the basic settings for copy jobs. Copying off the glass. Copying a single page off the glass is fine, but it's still quicker to do it through the document feeder. But if I want to copy single pages off the glass, whether they're stapled together or whether they're a part of a book, okay, a single page you place in the top left corner of the glass nearest the orange arrow. Close the top and press the green button to start. Because the machine automatically collates if you have multiple pages, you can keep putting down a new page and pressing the green start button, and then when it makes your copies, it will collate them correctly. The other thing you may want to do is copy a book. If you do that, you know you have to do it off the glass. What you need to do is go to the double-sided button and press the button that says book to two-sided. It'll show you an example of a book going to a two-sided copy. The most important thing about using this function is the placement of the book on the glass. The book needs to be placed along the back edge of the glass with the spine aligned to the 8.5 by 11 letter indicator. Then close the glass, close the top and press the green button. It'll scan both pages and then ask you if you have more to do. If I turn the page, put the book back down in the same place, close the cover, and press the green button again, it'll now scan the next two pages. What it's doing is preparing the job to be printed in a collated fashion, similar to the book pages that you're copying. When you're done with the number of pages that you'd like to have in this copy job, you press the Start Copying button on the screen, and it will now produce the copies that you've scanned.